So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, as promised, a fresh trim. I'm pretty sure you'd rather see this face than see the bearded and um my hair was all over the place. So I just thought I'd get a fresh trim all over. Um I don't think this hair suits me, but I just thought, why not? It'll just make it easier during these times when hairdressers are closed, where I can just like don't have to worry about my hair, don't have to worry about anything. Just no combing, nothing, not sorting your hair out in the morning. Just get up and go. But yeah, let's get straight into it, guys. I saw an interview with Dave Coldwell, and I've just seen the transcript of that interview on a boxing website. I forgot the boxing website. I think it was Boxing News. Can't exactly remember, but I'll see if I can link that in that. But I'm pretty sure he gave an interview. I think that interview was from Pep Talk, or was it IFL? I can't remember. It was one of the two. You can check it out. I think he does it with both, and he says a similar thing. Guys, there's a lot of British pundits, coaches that are giving their opinion, and normally you'd see them try to favor the British guy and try to be as biased as they can be, because obviously at the end of the day, Dave Coldwell and other guys that are from the UK are British. They want to back the British fighter. But Dave Coldwell basically said that he feels that Canelo's elite, and he just can't see a way how Billy Joe Saunders wins this fight. He said he has got the style to probably trouble him for a couple of rounds, but Canelo will adjust and find a way. And he goes, he just can't see how Billy Joe Saunders wins this fight. He mentioned that there's a difference between fighting at good level and fighting at elite level. And he just feels that Canelo Alvarez is a different level, elite level, and Billy Joe Saunders is gonna struggle against someone like Canelo Alvarez. Now, I have to agree with Dave Coldwell. I think any neutral person that's not a fanboy, and here's the thing, right? No one's disrespecting Billy Joe Saunders. A lot of his fanboys feel that people are disrespecting him, people are not giving him a chance to disrespect him. It's not that. It's just the level that Canelo's been operating at, the level this guy's been fighting at, the way he's been making world-class fighters look average. It's hard to pick against him. Now, Billy Joe Saunders, if you look at his career, look at his resume so far, there's nothing on his resume that is close to Canelo. So we can't assume that Billy Joe Saunders may fight out of his skin and may be an even better fighter than what we think he is or what we've seen right now. Nobody's going to analyze or predict or give their opinion on a fight through that, nobody's going to give their opinion through that. Like, we have to go on his resume, on what he's shown in the ring so far, how he's looked in those fights. And I've said to you guys that I don't see how he wins the fight. Now, I don't feel a guy that's just going to box and move for 12 rounds and pretty one-dimensional, doing the same thing for 12 rounds. That's what he's going to have to do to win. It's not like he can go and walk Canelo down, or he can start, there's not much Billy Joe Saunders can do. We know how he's going to, if he's got a chance to win this fight, what he's going to do. He's going to box and move, use his lateral movement, use his feet, right? Use his hand speed to land shots on Canelo, box and move, right? That's what he's going to do, right? And I said to you guys that Canelo's very versatile. He can do a lot more than just one thing. He can box in the center of the ring. He can walk you down, right? He can have a toe-to-toe scrap when he needs to, right? Because he's that type of fighter. He's versatile. He's got a lot about him. Billy Joe Saunders, like I said, can only do one thing in this fight. And if that doesn't work, he's in big, big trouble. Because then, for me, unless he just decides to throw caution to the wind, which it won't end well for him if he decides to go toe-to-toe with Canelo, because Canelo's the bigger puncher. He's got, in my opinion, the more punch variety. He's got more venom. He's got more explosive power than Saunders, right? Saunders will get taken out in brutal fashion. So he's gonna have to box and move for 12 rounds and look to win on points. That's what Billy Joe Saunders is gonna look to do. And Dave Coldwell just doesn't believe, and I agree with him. Dave Coldwell just doesn't believe that he's gonna be able to do that. Barry Jones said the same thing, that I don't see Billy Joe Saunders winning this fight. I just can't see it. And a lot of anyone that's neutral, right? I can understand Billy Joe Saunders' fanboys, because Billy Joe Saunders will have fanboys. There's gonna be fanboys. They're gonna say, well, I think, Billy Joe Saunders is gonna win this fight. I think Billy Joe Saunders is gonna outbox him. But most neutral people, like myself, that don't really have a horse in the race. I hope Billy Joe Saunders goes and beats him, because it'll be great to spot. A boxing upset's always a great thing. It's never a bad thing to have a boxing upset. But when you're thinking about it logically, and you're thinking about it, what they've done in their career so far, who they fought, the experience that Canelo's got, right? The experience that Billy Joe Saunders has got, the way Billy Joe Saunders has looked of late, right? And even his best wins are nowhere near Canelo's level. See, what would you say are Billy Joe's best wins? Andy Lee and David Lemieux, right? What would you say Andy Lee and David Lemieux are as fighters in terms of if you were to rank them A, B, C, D, where would you rank them? I think they're both good, solid fighters. I think they're both solid. I do think Andy Lee was a little bit on the other side of his career when he fought Saunders. I don't think he was in his prime. But regardless, the fight was very close as well. It was a majority decision. I don't think Andy Lee was an elite fighter, or I would say he was a fringe world-class fighter, and I'd say the same about David Lemieux. But Canelo's elite. It's beyond world-class. And he's not just elite. Now, there's elite fighters, and then there's also all-time greats. Like, for me, Crawford's an elite fighter, but Crawford's not an all-time great. Canelo's elite, but he's already an all-time great. I can already, because of the resume that he's got, I can already say he's an all-time great. For me, he's in the greats. He's in my opinion, the leagues of the Haglers and the Leonards. I think when he finishes his career, he'll be regarded in that same kind of category. I do like Mayweather, and I think he'll be in that same kind of category. He's operating at a very, very high level now. This is a very special fighter. Very versatile fighter. He's improving fight by fight. He lives the life. It's going to be very difficult to beat him. And then, you know what? What's even harder for Billy Joe Saunders? The fact that now that Canelo and Hearn are negotiating, or Eddie Hearn for Canelo is negotiating an undisputed fight with Caleb Plant. That surely, Billy Joe Saunders put something on his Instagram. I feel for Saunders, because that surely wouldn't be going down too well with Saunders. I know he's probably being sarcastic, but that fight, that's probably not going to be rubbing him up the right way, because he probably feels he's being disrespected and just completely overlooked. He may not care, but no fighter likes to be overlooked like that. Especially somebody like Saunders, who probably feels he's a fighting man and is proud, and he definitely wouldn't like the fact that he's been overlooked. And I think the fact that he posted it on his Instagram, even though he posted on his Instagram, when Eddie Hearn said that, Eddie Hearn's negotiating a fight with Caleb Plant and Canelo, Billy Joe Saunders posted on Instagram, that would be a good fight. I think he was obviously being very sarcastic. Listen, at the end of the day, Billy Joe Saunders knows the score. He knows what he's going into, and he knows what he's doing. Canelo is now promoted by Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn obviously, in my opinion, wants to work with Canelo for a very long time. Eddie Hearn's loving the fact that Eddie Hearn's got the two biggest stars in world boxing. I wouldn't say I'd say Fury's up there now as well. I know Fury's still got a lot to prove in terms of his marketability and ticket sales and all of that, but I do think Fury's going to be up there. I think Fury's a huge star now in his own right. But still, I would say AJ and Canelo are the biggest stars, and I think he's got both of them. So Eddie Hearn is like a fanboy of AJ and Canelo right now, because he's got the two biggest stars in the sport. And it's going to be very difficult for somebody to... I don't really like to mention the judges and stuff like that. I know a lot of you want me to mention the judges, and the fact of the matter is I don't think that's going to matter, because I think I have got Canelo to stop Saunders. But one thing I will say is that I'm not a guy, when I give a prediction, if I'm wrong, I'll come and say after the fight, I'll come and say it how it is. So if Saunders does manage to, go the distance and the fight should be in his favor, I'll be the first one to come out and say, listen, Canelo lost that fight, right? And Billy Joe Saunders won. And I would be the first one. But I'm just going there of their fighting ability. When I say that I feel that Canelo beats Saunders, I'm just going off their resume, going off their skill set, their experience. And I think a lot of people like Barry Jones, Dave Coldwell feel the same way. And not just those guys. Ben Davison, who's Billy Joe Saunders' very close friend, said that this isn't a 50-50 fight. You'd have to make Canelo a favorite in the fight. And they're like brothers, Saunders and Davison. And he's saying, no, this isn't a 50-50 fight. You'd have to make Canelo the favorite. He's right. You see, that's someone close to... Imagine someone close to you saying that this isn't a 50-50 fight. But Billy Joe Saunders can win the fight. But Ben Davison ain't going to say, well, Billy Joe Saunders has no chance to win this fight, when that's a guy that's very close to him. He's going to say that. That's what he's going to say. But the fact that he's saying that, it's not a 50-50 fight just tells you it's not. It's not. Like anyone that's... Listen, unless you're a complete fanboy and unless you're just, up in the fairy somewhere, up in the clouds somewhere, there's no way anyone can say that this is a 50-50 fight, or Billy Joe Saunders is going to beat Canelo easy, or Billy Joe Saunders is even going to beat Canelo. I don't think any neutral person would predict that. I think the only way you'll be predicting that is either if you're close to Billy Joe Saunders, or you're a fanboy of his, you're a fan of his, and you're predicting he'll beat Canelo. Apart from that, I don't think any neutral, will be predicting that Billy Joe Saunders beats Canelo, because it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough, especially when you look at all the things that are against him as well. And then you look at the skill set, you look at what Canelo brings to the table, you look at what Billy Joe Saunders brings to the table. Yeah, it's going to be a difficult. He's definitely up against it. And a lot of these guys, these analysts that are analyzing the fight, they're not even talking about the other external things. They're just talking about the things that inside the ring, the skill set, the ability, the dedication to the sport. Most people don't think this fight's going to be competitive. I think most people don't even feel that Billy Joe Saunders is going to go the distance. But again, I'll say it again, and I'll say it. Most people will predict that. Most people will predict Billy Joe Saunders hasn't got a chance. It's for Billy Joe Saunders to prove everybody wrong. Do you see what I mean? It's like when Buster Douglas was fighting Mike Tyson, nobody was giving Buster Douglas a chance. It's for Buster Douglas proved and beat Mike Tyson. The same way, Billy Joe Saunders is going to have to prove everybody wrong. Nobody's going to predict that he's going to be beating Canelo, right? Apart from his inner circle, there's going to be very few people that predict he's going to win the fight, right? It's Billy Joe Saunders that's going to have to turn up and shock everybody, right? Nobody gave Tyson Fury a chance to beat Vladimir Klitschko. It was Tyson Fury that had to turn up and prove, and he proved it. The same way Billy Joe Saunders is going to have to go and prove and prove it. And he may do. He may do. Like, maybe he's way better than what we all giving him credit for. I just think the experience, the lack of top-tier opposition, the inactivity, I think it's going to really hurt him in this fight. I think it's really going to hurt him because Canelo's got all of that. Canelo's active. Canelo's got elite level skills. Canelo's got experience. Canelo's been in the ring with a lot of top tier fighters. He's dedicated to the sport. Lives the life. All those things matter. All those things matter at this kind of level. And I just feel that Canelo may be too much. But again, if Saunders wins, I'll take my hat off to him, because honestly, this would be a huge upset to me. Huge upset. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Do you think Saunders can pull it off? Do you agree with Dave Coldwell? Do you disagree with Dave Coldwell? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.